Look at the pedestrian crossings first of all. There's puffin crossings and pelican crossings, Pegasus crossings. These are all types of crossings that other road users can use. Now puffin crossings are the most intelligent ones. You know you're dealing with a puffin crossing when on the approach you see the red man. You know where the pedestrians click the button, they press the button. If there's a red man there, and you can see it when you're driving, approaching them, you know you're dealing with a puffin crossing. They're good ones, them ones, because they're good technology, the latest technology. You wouldn't be expecting them to change if there was nobody waiting. So here's some traffic lights here. We do have oh, look at that, fantastic. There is a pedestrian crossing there. You see those silver studs? That's where the pedestrians cross. My white line to stop is well in advance of those silver studs. You never stop on those, across those studs, by the way. That's in the highway code, and it's endorsable offence because you could be blocking pedestrians from crossing. But so you have puffin crossings, and then the other ones are pelican crossings that we come across a lot. They're the older style ones, and they've got the flashing ambers. And the pelican crossings, you can tell on the approach to those, you see the wait sign. If somebody's pressed the button wanting to cross, the wait sign comes on. Now the thing is, if a kid presses that button and then presses that button and then walks off or runs off, those pelican crossings, they will still go red on you, even though there's nobody waiting there. So it's not just a simple case of saying, well, there's no one there, so therefore I'm not expecting it to go amber. So looking up ahead, we've got some traffic lights coming up ahead, and I can't see a red puffin man on the box, so I'm assuming this is a pelican crossing. However, if you look here, the box isn't illuminated, there's no wait sign. So the reason why they've gone red is because it's a crossing and the other traffic is waiting on a red. So that's why they changed. So although this is serving two purposes here, it's for pedestrians, but also it is an actual crossroads as well. So anyway, let's think about this. If you're not dealing with pedestrians crossing, why are the traffic lights there? They're there for just because there might be other traffic that's wanting to come from a different direction. You're not always going to see that traffic, and so therefore you can't say, well, as I approach I can't see anything coming, so therefore I'm not expecting it to go amber. It may well do that. What makes the traffic lights actually change phase anyway? If you look at the approach to these traffic lights coming up here, this is a puffin crossing. You see the red man on the box there? I don't know if that comes out of the camera. See these black bits of tar just on the road here on approach? They detect the wheels going over them. So if you've got, and also for bikes, motorcyclists as well. So it's the act of the vehicles approaching, going over those bits of black tar. That's what makes the traffic lights detect. Tells the computer that, oh right, we've got some traffic coming from a different direction and we need to change the lights. So it's the ones really I would suggest to you, not so much to do with the pedestrian crossings, but the other ones where there's traffic coming from other directions that we can't see. They're the most potentially hazardous because they could just change. The other thing is that there are these zingy type of lights traffic lights coming in where they've got a mind of their own, and they literally do change very, very fast, very zingy, and they are very hazardous. You've got to be really on the ball with those. So I'm basically, to summarise all of that, I'm basically suggesting to you that it's difficult to anticipate a green light going to an amber all the time. Just while I'm sat here, you can always tell when somebody's gone through an amber because they speed through the traffic lights. Not here in Peterborough, but down in London, the old Bill, they actually sit up on traffic lights and they wait for people. You can spot them a mile off. Anybody who's taking a bend on the traffic lights or a corner too fast, they've probably just gone through an amber light. Amber, let's not forget, amber means stop, doesn't it? Amber does mean stop. If you think anything other than that, then your attitude to driving needs some fine tuning. Amber does mean stop. The only exception to stopping is if by trying to stop you would actually cause other an accident, basically. Now, how are you going to cause an accident? By trying to stop on an amber light. If you slammed on the brakes and somebody hit you from behind, and because they weren't anticipating you to come to a stop. So it's very, very important on the approach to these green lights you be checking your mirrors, because you need to know how close the vehicles are behind you. So that's one aspect to think about when you're approaching a green light. The other is the overall stopping distance. So on a 30-mile-an-hour road, which is what we're on here, the overall stopping distance is 6 car lengths. Now I've got 4 cars in front of me, and I'd say there's a car length in front of me there, so that's 5 car lengths. The distance that camera is showing there is 5 car lengths from the stop line to the traffic lights. So if we count back those white lines, 1, 2, 3, 4, this is the 5th white line that's coming up to my car here. It's the 5th white line. So you can see what the type of distance is for 6 car lengths. The overall stopping distance is 23 metres, which is 6 car lengths. That's at 30 miles an hour. Now that's from the highway code, and to be honest with you, I think technology in car has improved to the extent where you could actually, I know I can stop. My overall stopping distance of 30 miles an hour in this car is shorter than 23 metres. But we've got to go with what we've got from the DSA. So that's a consideration. Don't forget, in the wet, it's double that, isn't it? In the wet, it's double that, in theory. So let's have a look at these lights coming up here. See if we can spot what type of lights these are. So these are the old style ones, aren't they? Because there's no red man there on that box facing us. So that's a pelican type light. The weight wasn't illuminated there, so I wasn't expecting them to go amber. If the weight isn't on, then you can reasonably expect for the lights not to go to amber. What should you do on the approach to these green lights? You should be mentally prepared for an amber light. Mentally prepared. Now, how you choose to go about doing that, I would suggest you always need to be checking our mirrors to see how close the vehicle is behind you, because that is definitely a factor. And then you need to be thinking about the road surface if it's wet. So let's have a look at this one here. This is a puffing crossing. There's nobody there. So with a puffing crossing and there's nobody there, I'm not expecting that to go amber. So whether you check your mirrors, come off the gas and cover the brake, is up to you. We don't really want to be braking on the approach to a green light, do we? That'd be very confusing to people behind us. Why are they braking on a green light, they'd be thinking. And here's another one here, again, red man there, so I'm expecting that as a puffing crossing. I'm not expecting that to go amber. Yeah, so we need to be thinking about at what stage, at what position, as I approach the green traffic lights, even if they were to go amber, can I not actually physically stop without creating an accident? That's what it comes down to. This is the judgment call that we're talking about. And the factors are how close the vehicle is behind you. The factors are what is the road surface, because that affects your overall stopping distance. Other factors are how prepared are you for this stop. So with experience, you would be able to come off the gas and onto the brake, not in a harsh way, but you'd be able to do that very, very, with very little delay. But when you're first of all learning, it's maybe not such a bad idea to come off the gas and just cover the brake. Not actual braking. We don't want to be scaring anyone behind us, not when we're approaching a green light, but just cover it. And so you are you're not just mentally prepared, you're physically prepared then to actually to deal with the light if it goes amber.